Well, this scenario here today seems to be a wonderful challenge for future administrators. Fortunately, I've been in this situation as a coach in terms of the political situation, and a coach that I've had to demote or let go because of some of the situations that was happening on our program. First of all, let me make it clear, I have no problem taking care of situations like that, but there is a specific way to do that, and I understand that. In this scenario here, I love the political element that's been brought in about the husband being on the school board. It's pretty unique, and it's definitely possible. I see that even in our own district here. But at this point, I noticed the teacher stated that she likes to close the door and do her own thing, but we have to remember that the principal has the key to every door. And before you have a meeting like this, it is vital that you have some data and some research or some visuals and some information to use in a meeting like this. I guess this person's name is Nancy, Negative Nancy, but we're going to try to get Negative Nancy on the right track here. And so before she leaves for the summer, as we sit down and meet, at this point, 20 years in the business, I think teachers like to they'd like to have someone that's going to be really frank with them, but professional. And so I'm going to make Nancy make sure she understands that we're going to need her. We're going to need her to raise our school to the next level academically and professionally, and create a culture that's going to be sufficient and going to be an environment in which our kids are comfortable, they're learning, and the teachers are getting along, they're collaborating. The environment is just a positive arena, a positive culture or environment. So as Nancy comes into my office, we're going to, I guess we'll start with the small talk, what you're going to do this summer and things like that. But I want to get straight down to business here, because I know Nancy understands what's about to happen, most likely. I'm going to tell Nancy real quick, Nancy, we are going to need you next year. And what I'm seeing right now, and I appreciate your work, I appreciate your efforts, and I appreciate what you're doing for our school. But we and everybody in the school wants to step it up another level for next year. And I'm going to show her class data, her kids' data. And I'm going to show not just this year, but as many years as I can that I can get a hold of, and I'm going to compare it. One thing about a school, it needs to be transparent with its data. It needs to be transparent and honest with each other, because if you just sweep it under the rug, you're just going to get a situation where nothing's going to ever change. So I'm going to show her that, and I'm going to compare it with other classes. I'm not going to put the teachers' names up there, but I'm going to use that data to compare hers to the others. And we're going to see, obviously, through what I'm seeing in this scenario, we're going to see a very clear pattern. And then I've got to ask Nancy some hard questions. Nancy, do you want this information or this data to improve? Do you want your kids to be more prepared than they are for 4th grade? And depending on that answer is the directions we're going to have to go. But at this point, I'm assuming Nancy, being a professional, is going to say yes to all of these. And then I'm going to explain to Nancy that we're going to move to another level next year. We're going to have PLCs and professional learning communities, and I'm going to give her some information that she needs to look over that summer and for this summer. And I'm going to tell Nancy, we need her. So if I'm speaking to Nancy, here it is. Nancy, we need you. You are a vital part of our school. We want our school to go to another level next year and beyond. I want you to be a major player in that. We're going to have professional learning communities. We're going to get involved with our teachers, collaborating with each other, sharing ideas. And any ideas that you have, I want you to share them. Any ideas that the teachers have that's working in their classrooms, I want you to be receptive to those ideas. And I want us to create an environment, and I want you to help me create that environment to where kids are learning, kids are wanting to come to school, they want to come to your classroom. They want to come to the other teacher's classroom. They cannot wait to get into your room and others in your PLC's room to learn to improve academically. So those are some of the things that I would point out to Nancy and give her some research on PLCs, some information so she can look over. And we'll have to see how that goes next year. But through this meeting, before this meeting would take place, I would go ahead and inform my superintendent that this is the situation, which I would have already been talking to the superintendent about this scenario, about this situation, because of course she's on the political end of it. And she needs to be aware, or he needs to be aware, whoever the superintendent is, of the situation that we're dealing with, and maybe that my supervisor can give me some ideas. But that's the way I would handle that at this point. I have no fear in taking care of situations like this because my school, our school, depends on it. The organization that I've been put in charge of is counting on my leadership. And I take that seriously. And so whatever needs to be done here would have to be done. And if after next year, and I know we're not talking about after next year, but after next year, if it continued, then we'd have to look at remediation and things like that of what we need to take care of. But that's exactly what I would do at this point. Thank you.